Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're stepping straight into an ancient, intensely visionary landscape. We're talking about a text that is just overflowing with dramatic, apocalyptic imagery that was meant to literally shake its original audience to their core. We're going to unpack a really profound narrative of cosmic justice, exploring a bizarre landscape that shifts violently from a valley of burning fire to our main focus today, a catastrophic, world-ending celestial deluge of waters. So if you want to understand exactly how ancient minds conceptualized ultimate accountability and divine retribution, well, you're in exactly the right place.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because the visionary here, he doesn't waste any time with a slow intro. We're dropped immediately into this incredibly visceral, fiery cold open. Just imagine for a second, standing at the precipice of this vision. You turn toward another side of the earth, only to be confronted by a massive, deep valley completely consumed by a burning fire. It's this intimidating, immediate sensory experience that sets the stakes right from the absolute first line. Section 1. The Valley of Fire. To really grasp this desolate setting, we kind of have to look at exactly who is being marched into the inferno. Because let's be honest, a prison like this isn't built without a specific purpose, right? And it certainly isn't built for just anyone. The text specifically notes that they brought the kings and the powerful and threw them into this deep valley. It's a huge recurring theme in ancient apocalyptic literature, this sudden, frankly terrifying realization that earthly authority, wealth, and status offer absolutely zero protection in the cosmic courtroom. The very people who held absolute power on the earth are now the captives, facing a fiery abyss they literally cannot control or bribe their way out of. And as the visionary watches these earthly rulers face their judgment, his eyes are drawn to something even more ominous being constructed. He actually sees instruments being forged right there, specifically iron chains of immense weight. The sheer physical burden described here builds an incredible amount of dramatic tension. I mean, these aren't your standard restraints. The text heavily emphasizes their immense weight, which tells us they're designed to hold something incredibly powerful. And naturally, this prompts the visionary to ask the angel of peace who's guiding him, basically, exactly who have these chains been prepared for?
Section 2. Chaining Azazel's Fallen Hosts.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the angel's answer, because it shifts our focus completely. We're moving from the judgment of earthly rulers to the binding of supernatural beings. This is where the whole narrative expands from a human scale to a full-blown cosmic one. Notice the specific definition given here. The angel reveals these massive chains are prepared for the hosts of Azazel. These are supernatural entities who committed a twofold crime. First, they became subject to Satan, and second, they actively led astray those who dwell on the earth. Basically, this is the root cause of the earthly injustice we just talked about. The kings and the powerful didn't just corrupt the earth in a vacuum, They were influenced by these fallen hosts. And now the hosts are being imprisoned and sent to the lowest hell for that deception.
But the punishment doesn't stop at heavy iron chains. The Lord of the Spirits commands a bizarre and honestly surprisingly specific penalty. Their jaws will be covered with rough stones. It's such a captivating, almost jarring detail to include. I mean, why the jaws, right? Well, in ancient contexts, the mouth is the ultimate source of instruction, persuasion, and obviously in this case, deception. By covering their jaws with rough stones, the very instruments they use to lead humanity astray are forcibly and painfully silenced for good.
To actually enforce this brutal sentence, the text names the specific heavenly wardens tasked with carrying it out. On that great day of judgment, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Phanuel will completely overpower the hosts of Azazel. These four incredibly powerful angels are going to take these chained, silenced beings and just throw them straight into the oven of burning fire. It's a definitive, overwhelming victory designed to allow the Lord of the Spirits to fully avenge himself on them for the injustice they seeded all across the earth.
Section 3. The Celestial Deluge Unleashed.
But here's the thing. The burning valley is really only the beginning of this cosmic reset. We are about to see a massive shift in scale. We're going from a localized, fiery punishment for the powerful and the fallen angels to a massive, global, watery cataclysm designed to cleanse the entire earth. Let's move to this next part and see how it builds mechanically, because it's fascinating. The visionary breaks down exactly how this celestial deluge of waters is unleashed. Guys, this isn't just a heavy rainstorm. This punishment from the Lord of the Spirits triggers an absolute unraveling of the physical world. First, the repositories of water that are locked up above in the heavens are thrown wide open. Second, the hidden fountains of water located deep under the earth are simultaneously opened. And finally, these two massive, opposing forces of water violently join together. It's a complete structural collapse of the cosmos, attacking from both above and below at the exact same time.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ancient, highly esoteric way this text categorizes the universe itself. Just look at this breakdown. The text explicitly states that the water in high heaven is masculine and the water beneath on the earth is feminine. When the repositories above and the fountains below are opened, these waters don't just mix, they join in this terrifying cosmic union. It's an incredibly fascinating duality, right? It's the merging of the masculine heavens and the feminine earth, but definitely not to create life. Instead, this celestial deluge of waters is designed to completely overwhelm and destroy the corrupted world that currently exists.
Section 4. Cosmic Justice and Destruction.
With the masculine and feminine waters completely unified into an inescapable deluge, we have to look at the absolutely devastating consequences for anyone caught in its path. And spoiler alert, the text leaves zero room for survival. It states incredibly clearly that all those who dwell on the earth and those who dwell under the ends of heaven will be destroyed. I really want you to notice the contrast here between the localized earthly injustice we started with and the sheer overwhelming scale of this cosmic consequence. The deception perpetrated by the hosts of Azazel and the corruption of the kings and the powerful, well, it's triggered a celestial punishment that leaves literally nowhere to hide. It is the absolute ultimate expression of divine retribution.
So, the crucial point is found right here in this final quote. Through this, they know their injustice, which they have done on the earth, and therefore they are destroyed. You see, the destruction brought by this celestial deluge of waters isn't arbitrary, it's not random. It serves a very specific and terrifying psychological purpose. The flood actually acts as a mirror, forcing humanity to finally see and recognize the reality of their own actions. They aren't just blindly wiped out, they are destroyed with the full, heavy knowledge of the injustice they committed. The punishment brings this moment of absolute, total clarity right at the very end.
Which really leaves us with this final thought. Look, we obviously don't live in an age where we expect the heavens to literally open up and pour down masculine and feminine waters to wash away the earth. But this text wasn't just written to scare people with a giant flood. It was written to deeply explore cause, effect, and morality. If ultimate destruction is simply a mirror reflecting our own earthly injustice back at us, what does this ancient vision actually teach us about accountability today? Like, how do we measure the weight of our own actions before the consequences arrive? Take a second to think about that, and how the echoes of these ancient warnings still resonate so strongly in the way we view justice and responsibility right now. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive in today's Explainer, and as always, keep seeking to understand the ideas that shape our world